Welcome back to Universe. I'm Andrew, and today I'm playing Earthborne Rangers. This is day 6 of my campaign. It's also part 5 of the series. So if you want to catch up from day 1, there's a link in the description to the playlist where you can do so, but you're welcome to join me either way. And I'm currently in White Sky, but I need to get to the Spire. I've been tasked to do so after the flooding. And yeah, I need to journey to Spire. So I have this journey mission here, and then Spire location card is underneath there. Pretty straightforward, just arrive at the attached location and I'll read that entry. I'm not necessarily planning to try to complete that today though. I want to make progress on it, but it's not my goal to complete that. Instead, I'm going to work on a mission that have had since A1 and just never quite did it, and that is to lure Quiet. So Quiet is a predator who's been causing some trouble, and one of the elders asked me to lure out Quiet and probably deal with them somehow. So I need to collect 5 prey, or 5 presents worth of prey, and attach them to this card and then travel. And I haven't quite been able to get there. I've always had something else occupying my time. I need to get to Spire by day 10. I'm currently on day 6. So I've got a little bit of time to spend on this is what I'm thinking. There's no other urgent things right now. So as I travel, I'm going to be focusing on collecting prey, almost more than traveling, although I will be moving in that direction. And then as I'm starting day 6, I am meant to read this entry that I was instructed to write above it, which is 94.2. I actually read it at the end of the previous episode, just because it felt like a natural conclusion to what was going on. But we'll do a recap real quick. Yeah, basically it had been raining very heavily. I was able to assist with the flooding in 2 of the 3 affected locations, but unfortunately Golden Shore was the location I was not able to help, and that location is now marked as being flooded in the campaign log. But amidst the mess of the flood, there are dozens of strange corpses of biomelds, and so that's why I need to bring word of this to Elder Orlin in Spire. If anyone in the valley knows what these things are, it's her. Travel to Spire within the next 4 days. And since technically I would have been reading this at the start of day 6, which is now, that's why I wrote that above day 10. So I've got until day 10 to get there. So I'm going to relax a little bit as I travel. We'll see. There's always something that comes up. Try to do this properly this time. I need to draw my opening hand, and then I can mulligan it, and then I should proceed with the setup instructions of the location. Got a few cards I do like. I have 3 manifestations and I only have 1 song. So I think I'm going to mulligan my second copy of Scepter of Harmony, because I start with this one in play because it has the setup keyword. I don't think I need the green thumb, and I'm going to get rid of Shape the Earth. I like it, but I don't want to keep that many manifestations since I can't necessarily play them all. So I'm going to set these aside, draw 3 replacement cards. 2 of those I'm pretty happy with, and then shuffle these back in. Even though the flooding is over, the weather still, as indicated by the campaign log, is a downpour. So it's going to have 4 rain counters, which I have here. And on the sun icon, I'm going to discard 1 rain and take 1 fatigue. But when there's no rain, it will flip into a brief reprieve of a gathering storm. So we'll take a look at that if we get there. Although the mission regarding the flooding is gone, and that was adding weather tokens, basically making it rain more every time I hit a mountain challenge icon. So with that mission over, hopefully we'll actually get the reprieve every once in a while. We are at White Sky. This has a 1 presence, and it clears with 3 progress. And with awareness and connection, the shores beside the towering parasols of White Sky, to scout path cards equal to your effort and then draw 1. So I can search for prey here if I want to. On the back, should read entry 3, and then the lead ranger will draw a path card, which says if White Sky is flooded, but this is not one of the locations that I let get flooded. That's just Golden Shore. So it says, from your vantage point, you can see much of the southern shore of White Sky Lake, from the froth of rapids at the head of the Silverfin River to the mix of rocky promontories and pebble-strewn beaches that slowly curve around toward the opposite shore. There you see the village of White Sky and the tiny forms of villagers going about their business on the platforms and docks. Then I will draw a path card because I'm the lead ranger, and I had set this up for myself, but I'm going to give it another quick shuffle just because it's been sitting like this for few days. Make sure the cards feel the chaos of the universe. And we get Vera, Lake Guide. So she is friendly. She's got an entry of her own, entry 49. She looks familiar. I think she gave me a ride on the boat before, on the first day. The woman at the helm of the docked Dolewood longboat has the shoulders that one earns after a life of paddling and pooling the valley's waterways. She nods curtly in your direction. I'm Vera. I make supply runs all over the lake. She thinks for a moment after you introduce yourselves. You know, if you need to ride somewhere around White Sky, I can take you. Just make sure you're ready to go when you call on me. Clear Vera with progress to charter her boat to immediately travel to any location on White Sky Lake. So that would be, I guess, White Sky or Golden Shore. I don't know if Mount Nim, those are pretty far away. So it seems like it would just be the two. And since I'm planning to go west to Boulderfield, I don't think that's going to be relevant. So she's going to come out and probably just hang out, not doing much. And that completes normal setup, and then we can start the round, and step one is to draw a path card. So I have found a Sitka buck, which is perfect. I'm looking for prey. I'm in the woods right now, the wood set, which I think is mostly the Sitka bucks and their one presence. I know that the grasslands set has 2 presence prey. So if I were to travel, I would be using the wood set again. So I think I arrived here via the woods, and I'm going to leave via the woods. So it won't really be until I'm headed to Kobo's Market that I get to use the grassland set. And then from Kobo's Market to the Spire, it'll be Lakeshore, and I don't really remember what's in there. So I might get most of my best prey from this traversal of Boulderfield to Kobo's Market. So I might not want to hang around here that long, but I will get some prey while I can. So this is going to be within reach of me with the down arrow there. And let's see. I think I'll start by throwing a Sky Whip. So I don't necessarily want to hurt the buck, but just, show it who's boss a little bit. So this costs 0 awareness to play. It is a manifestation, so I have to spend a token from one of my conduits, which would be my Scepter of Harmony, which starts with 1 song. Again, it has the setup keyword, so I get to start with it in play. And it starts with 1 song counter, 1 song token. And after I perform a test with no challenge effects triggered or resolved, I add a song to it. So I'm spending the only one I have for now. Hopefully I'll get more, and I can exhaust this and spend X songs to add X progress to a being. That's not what I'm doing right now. I'm spending that song to play this manifestation, which is going to allow me to make this test, which is awareness plus conflict icons. I can strike to add harm to a being. Sitka buck clears with 3, but I only have 2 awareness. And I think I'll commit another copy of Sky Whip because it does have that conflict icon, so I can add to the test. And that'll mean I'm working with a 3 effort here, and I'll just be affected by the challenge card that I draw, which I'll give this another chaotic shuffle here before actually pulling one. Whoops. All right, a 3 awareness. Let's see, a -1. So we got a 2. That's fine. So 2 total effort at the end means 2 harm is going to be added to the Sitka buck. That doesn't clear it because, again, its harm threshold is 3. But then it says, then exhaust it. So it gets to be exhausted anyway, so I don't have to worry about it for now. Then I'm going to resolve Sun challenge icons, and the downpour will discard 1 rain and give me 1 fatigue, taking the top card of my deck into my fatigue stack. That ends that, and I'm going to use my roll card Prodigy the Floating Tower. I can exhaust to add a manifestation of my discard to my hand, so we'll go ahead and do that. And then I'm going to play Ranger Badge, which costs 2 spirit, so I'll spend 2 of my 3 spirit, attach it to my roll, and it starts with 3 XP tokens, but I'm only going to put 2 because I can use and exhaust to ready my roll. So I'll exhaust this, spending 1 of those tokens to ready my roll, and then I'll exhaust my roll to add the other Sky Whip back into my hand. So got all my cards back. Then I would like to try to traverse White Sky. So I'm going to use this common test, the top one there, to use fitness and exploration to traverse. I'll use both of my 2 fitness energy. It has a progress threshold of 3, so I'd like to get a 3, although I probably don't want to travel yet because I do want to finish off the Sitka buck first. But I don't have any exploration I want to spend, so I'll just do 2 for now. 2, I got a 0 on fitness, so that'll just be 2 progress added to the location. And then I need to resolve the crest. This mission says if there are 2 active predators, but there are not, Sitka buck has a crest symbol, but it is exhausted. And Vera says if there's an active predator, exhausted, but there's not. So none of those resolve, and then I get to take 1 song onto the Scepter of Harmony. That would finish this challenge except for the reshuffle icon here. So I'm going to take this and the previous challenge card, and reshuffle. I don't think I'm going to spend my spirit. I could do a basic connection test with Vera, but I don't think that benefits me. I can just ignore her. Unless I just want to make more tests, because there is a 2/3 chance that I would get another song. Only a sun would fatigue me and make the rain end, or get closer to ending. But a crest or a mountain, neither of those would resolve anything, and I'd get more songs for it. So sure, let's do a basic connect test with no added connection icons, the heart. So just a 1, and I got a 0, so I'll add 1 progress to her. She clears on 3, which again, I don't care about. I'm just doing it because I actually do get the song. Crest will trigger or resolve nothing, and my Scepter of Harmony goes up. And then I'm also going to make that basic focus plus reason test with my 1 focus energy. Again, committing no icons, so just a 1. And +1 is 2, which means I get to scout 2 ranger cards and then draw 1 ranger card. I think I'm going to leave bold on the top, but I'm going to put, well, it doesn't matter because I'm going to draw 1 now and then I'll draw 1 at the end of the round. Take this scene through cycles. Then I do have to resolve. Oh, it does matter because I'm about to take fatigue. So I think that's fine. Bold is going to end up in my fatigue stack here because of the sun. And then the rain goes down to 2, and I got another reshuffle. So no song on that one, unfortunately. And then I will go into step 3, which is the travel step. If I had progress equal to or greater than the location's threshold, I could leave, but I don't. I only got 2 out of 3, so we'll go to step 4, refresh, ready all cards, the Sitka Buck, my ranger badge, and my ranger roll. Regain all of my energy and draw a card. And then go to the top of the next round and draw a path card, which is an overgrown thicket. This is an obstacle, so I'm going to have to get rid of this or traverse it somehow in order to leave white sky now. With awareness and exploration, I can add progress to it, and I just need 2. All right, well, I don't think I'm going to have the awareness to spend on that because I'm going to play Riri the Sparrowhawk for my 2 awareness. That spends all my awareness energy for this round. And she is friendly, so she doesn't fatigue me. Persistent, so she can travel with me. Unique, so I can only have 1 of her. And I can exhaust her to add harm to a being in the same area, which I'm going to do because she's going to be within reach of me. So I'm going to exhaust her to add a 3rd harm to the Sitka Buck, which will clear it. And because it's a prey and because of the lure mission, I will attach it to the lure mission. Now I have 1 out of 5 presents I need. Riri can also be used to scout the path deck and draw a path card, but I don't need that right now. I think I'd be happy to try to leave, but now I have the thicket in the way. So I guess I'm going to be hanging out here for a minute. Let's use the basic traverse. I can't traverse this and this because I only have, well, I could traverse with 1 fitness, but I need a 2. And I only have a single exploration icon in my hand, which I don't want to spend. Yeah, I think I just have to do 2. It has a 1 presence, so the X on there refers to the 1. If I get less than 1, I'll fail and take an injury, which is bad. So -2 is bad here. -1 I can afford. So I got a +1. Okay, that's actually great. No, I just needed a 2, so it doesn't matter. But that's going to give me progress equal to my effort, which ended up being 3. Only needed 2. We'll resolve the crest, which does nothing. So I'll take a song and shuffle this back in. Also, the 3 progress also clears it. But now I don't have the fitness to make another traverse test on the location. I think that means I'm just lingering again, unfortunately. I'm going to spend 2 spirit to play the static sifter, which isn't going to be helpful right now, but if I put harm on Flora, I can collect victuals, which I can use to soothe my fatigue, which will put cards from this stack back or into my hand. So that's just setting up for later. And I'll go ahead and do the remember test. My +1 is 2, so I get to scout 2 again. Well, I'm about to take a fatigue, so I'll put this one on the, well, I have to draw 1. Sure, I'll draw the green thumb and put Scepter of Harmony underneath it. So I draw the green thumb, and then I'm going to take this fatigue from the downpour. I do want to get that bold back, though, so I know where the bold is. I'm just going to put it face up because I don't like memory games, so I know this card is bold. So that is not how you're normally supposed to do things, but if I know the information, I don't see why I shouldn't be able to look at it. And discard a rain and shuffle again. That is quite a bit of shuffling on the challenge deck. Got 3 songs, which is nice. And if I return 2 manifestations in my hand, that costs me an XP counter from the Ranger badge, but I can return 1 for free. So I'm just trying to figure out if I'm missing value here. I should figure out a way to discard a manifestation card. Like, is there another challenge I would want to do? Another test to perform. Again, I can connect with Vera just to make a test for the scepter. If I do hit his sun, I'm burying my bold pretty deep. I don't need the bold. It's not a deal breaker. It just helps me travel better. I don't remember. Maybe clearing her would let me soothe fatigue, even if I don't want to travel on the lake. Maybe that is worth it, especially since I can get a scepter token potentially. 2/3 that I would. So let's do a spirit plus a connection icon in the form of a manifestation card. And I got a -1, so 2 minus 1 is 1. So that's just going to be the second progress on her. And then resolve the mountain icon, which doesn't do anything. So I do get the song. And then I can use my roll to get this card I committed back to my hand. Then I will end the round. Ready, energize, and draw a path card, which is a wolfhound. Not what I was looking for. So it's gonna be within reach of me. If there were another predator, it would be exhausted, but there's not. And it has 2 presents. All right, so now I think I'm gonna go ahead and play the scene through cycles. It's gonna cost 2 spirit out of my 3. It is a manifestation, so it's gonna cost 1 of my 4 songs. And I choose a being. I'm gonna choose the wolfhound to shuffle into the path deck and then search for a being to put into play. I'll take a Sitka doe. I don't think I've seen the Sitka doe yet. Just the bucks all the time. The does, or the bucks talk about the does, but I don't think I've actually seen one. And it just has 1 presence, 2 harm, and 4 progress thresholds. And that's gonna be easier to deal with from the wolfhound, and it will help me with the lure mission. So that's within reach of me. That finishes scene through cycles. And I think I'll play the Sky Whip onto the Sitka doe. So it's going to cost me 1 song, 1. Well, how much energy do I want to commit? There's no fail state. I only fail on a 0. But if I commit 1 and I get a -1, that is 0. And the downside of that would be that I wasted my card and my energy and it didn't get exhausted, which would mean I will get fatigued when I try to traverse White Sky. And I kind of want to finish this now because I would like to travel this round, I think. So, okay, I'm going to commit, well, let's just commit 2 energy. I'll get pretty messed up by a -2, but otherwise we're fine. All right, I got a 0, which means it clears immediately. Add that to the lore mission because I added 2 harm. Discard the Sky Whip. Resolve a sun, which discards a rain. It gives me a fatigue. And flips this into the Gathering Storm, which has 0 rain tokens. During the refresh step at the end of the round, add 2 rain to it, and if there are 4 or more, it becomes a downpour again. And exhaust all ranger roll cards. But with a focus plus reason test, I can shelter from the threatening clouds overhead to discard a rain from here for every 2 effort. I don't have great focus though, but that can slow down the progress of the rain. All right, I am hoping to soothe a little bit here. So before I leave Vera behind, I'm assuming I'm going to be able to traverse in a moment. But let's do another connect test with 1 spirit. If I fail, I fail. I'm not going to spend any more cards on it. Or should I? If it's like a soothe 3, spending 1 card to soothe 3 makes sense. So sure, I'm going to commit 1 connection icon from Green Thumb. So I have 2, and I got a 0, so I'll add 2 progress. She clears on 3, and that means I'll read entry 49, which I know I've read before. You move down to the shore and find Vera cleaning the deck of her longboat. She looks up and sighs. You ready? You may immediately end the round and travel to one of the following: Lone Tree Station, Golden Shore, Atrox Mountain. Okay, so we can go to all 3. Use the lakefront terrain type when building the path deck, blah, blah, blah. If you choose not to travel, discard her. So I guess I did not get to soothe. That's fine. Her main benefit is traveling, but I don't need to go to any of those locations because they don't get me closer to Spiral. The sun effect doesn't resolve anything, so I'll take a 3rd song. And let's traverse White Sky. Just 2? Just 2. 2 plus 1 is 3, so I'll add 3 more progress. That brings it up to 5. The sun again gives me a song. I will use my roll to return a manifestation. She'll be seen through cycles. And what the heck, let's go ahead and do another one with an XP to get the Sky Whip back. And yeah, I'll focus 1, or I'm doing a remember test. 1 lets me scout 1 card. Shape the Earth, sure, that's a fine card to have available. Although I kind of want to draw my trowel. So maybe I'll put it on the bottom just because of that. Draw this, not the trowel. And this doesn't resolve anything, so I'll get another song. to 5. Then we'll go to step 3, travel. The location has 5, it only needs 3. So I'm going to remove all path cards from play, choose a new location, and assemble the path deck. Put away White Sky, going back to Boulder Field, and I'm going via the woods because of that icon in between White Sky and Boulder Field. So I'm going to keep the woods cards, but I'm going to get rid of the White Sky cards, and I'm going to use 3 random cards from the Valley set because Boulder Field is not a pivotal location. Shuffle all these together and resolve the setup for the Boulder Field. So this is a 1 threshold location. Progress threshold of 4. All beings have a presence reduction of 1. And I'm going to read 14. Long ago, a great mountain once stood here, but as the millenniums passed, it steadily split and crumbled. At the edges of the boulder field, the ground is littered with round rocks the size of apples. As you head deeper in, however, the boulders grow larger until you find yourself weaving between what you imagine to be the bones of the lost mountain, pillars of rock that reach toward the sky. Then the lead ranger will draw a challenge card and do the following based on the icon. I got a crest, which says scout 3 path cards and then draw 2. I assume I still reshuffle because of that icon, even though I'm not actually resolving any challenge icons other than for this setup effect. Scouting 3 path cards, we get Overgrown Thicket, Old Bloody Clicker, and Caustic Mulcher. Wow, I think I'll send the Biomelds to the bottom. They look kind of scary. And then draw 2. So these will go away. I'll keep the Overgrown Thicket and a Wolfhound, or a Woolhund. I've been saying Wolfhound the whole time, but it is a Prowling Woolhund. Thicket is along the way. Woolhund is within reach. And that concludes step 3. Step 4 is to refresh. Ready all cards. I think I bumped my XP off. So it's have 1 XP left. Energize, draw. And step 1, draw another path card, which is another Woolhund. All right, got some work to do. So first of all, I started blasting. Spend 1 song, 2 energy. Let's make it 3. Committing 3. 0 is going to add 3 harm to one of the Woolhunds, and then the sun does... Oh, well, the Woolhund's ability on the sun is ready another Prowling Woolhund, but they're both ready already, so... Oh, but I should resolve my challenge first, and that is to exhaust this, which means this one does resolve, and it readies the other one, which is a bummer. And I forgot, so that resolves the Sky Whip and everything, but I forgot the Gathering Storm should have gotten 2 rain counters during the refresh step. But I can now use Riri to deal 1 harm to a being in her space, which is the Woolhund with 3 harm on it, so that's cleared via harm. And I will play Scene Through Cycles for 2 of my spirit and 1 of my songs to shuffle this into the deck and get a different being, which will be another buck. Still gonna have to deal with that, but at least it's gonna help with my mission. Although now Old Bloody Clicker and the Caustic Mulcher are shuffled in rather than being at the bottom. Kind of scary. That's discarded. Still don't have my shovel. Guess I'll spend my last spirit just to do a basic connect test, but it's just gonna be with 1 with the Sitka Buck. 1, 0 is 1. 1 progress. Needs 5 to clear it, but at least we're doing something. The sun will give me a song and then a reshuffle. And then if I want to traverse the thicket or the boulder field, I'm going to be getting fatigued by the buck. I can't even work on the boulder field yet anyway. I have Arvtel's Vaulting Rod, which would let me spend vault tokens to exhaust obstacles, but I can only do it twice, and also it takes up 3 gear spots. I already have 3 gear spots full, so if I were to play this, I'd have to discard 1 of my current gear, which would probably be the Sifter. Even though it doesn't have any counters on it, I still don't want to do that, so probably just deal with the thicket the hard way. I do have my other copy of Static Sifter in my hand, but it just doesn't seem worth it. So I'm going to hang on to this. I can use all 4 of my songs to just put that much progress onto a being, and I could finish off the buck that way, clear it right out, but then all my songs would be gone. I wouldn't be able to play any manifestations until I build them back up. But you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to spend 4 songs using that last ability to add 4 progress, which will clear the buck and add it as my 3rd. 3 presents toward 5. And then I can go ahead and traverse the Overgrown Thicket. Need at least a 1 to succeed. You know what? I could get lucky here. I'm going to commit 1 energy. 1 energy, keeping 1, and commit 1 exploration, so that's 2. I just need 2 So if I get lucky, I got 2. I got a 0. So I get to keep my 2, which clears the thicket. Then I resolve the crest, which does nothing, and I get a song, which is good. Then I reshuffle again. Is this a record on most reshuffles per challenges tested? And now I can use my other fitness to traverse the boulder field. But here I need 4 if I want to travel this turn. So I'm going to need a +1. I'm committing a ranger badge with 2 exploration icons. So I'm at 3. Do I have any on manifestation cards? Yes. So I'm going to first exhaust my roll to pick up Seen Through Cycles, and that's got another exploration icon. So I'm committing 4 here. Let's just hope for another 0. Got the -1. All right. I say the -1. There's plenty of -1s in there. So I just get 3. Actually, what the heck? I'm running out of cards here, but I'm going to play Throng of Life with my 1 focus. That is going to spend my 1 song as well. But I think I'm going to get at least one back. This is going to let me choose a modifier from the card. Instead of using fitness as -1, I can use a 0 or a +1. Either way, that's going to give me 4 progress rather than 3. And then I just have to choose an additional challenge icon to resolve. And actually, none of them do anything right now. So regardless of which second one I choose, both the mountain and the other one will give me a song. So I get 2 songs, which is a nice use of Throng of Life. And now I can travel. Although I'm not going to be able to avoid the rain. I was thinking about trying to use my focus, although 1 focus, I would need at least 2 to lose 1 rain. So I don't have that option now. Down to 2 cards in my hand. I think I'll save that last XP until I know exactly what I need and why. So let's go ahead and travel. So clear the boulder field. This time we're going from here down to Kobo's Market. So that's going to be along a grassland. So I'm going to put the wood set away, shuffle the 3 valley cards that I was using into the grassland set, and that will be my Kobo's Market set. Kobo's Market. All right. The grassland does have some 2 presents prey. So even 2 presents prey would put me up to 5. So when I go to travel from the market to Spire, which is my ultimate destination, that would do it. So I want to make sure that I do this now, because when I get to Spire, I'm sure something else is going to happen. So that's going to be my goal for sure, is get 2 more prey presents and then travel. That's all I need to do. And let's look at the lore mission again. Locate one of the local mega predators by finding prey to lure it out. In this case, it is Quiet. When a prey is cleared, set it aside. And I do kind of know Quiet, but not from my own playthrough, more just from seeing other bits of other playthroughs and hearing about it in the campaign and stuff. I think Quiet was kind of the most famous mega predator. It is a card from the Valley set and is a large cat. It's a ferocious predator. So I need to arrive at a new location. Well, there's 5 or more total presents of prey set aside. So that's what I was kind of wondering, is do I have to travel or arrive there? Because when you travel, you can choose to camp out and end the day. So I was kind of wondering, can I like end the day, resolve the mission, but then also end the day? And it seems like not. You got to actually arrive at the new location. I've got enough deck that I'm not super worried about being forced to end the day early. But I was just kind of curious to get that clarified. But that's how I'm going to assume that's going to work. So let's take a look at Kobo's Market. Has a 1 present, 4 to traverse. With focus plus connection, we can haggle with the vendors of the market. Return a gear to your collection from your hand. Choose a starting gear from your collection that you meet the aspect requirements for and add it to your hand. And that permanently alters your deck. I do have my second static sifter, but I don't think I want to swap it out. I like being able to have the consistency of getting it. Not that I've even used it this time, but I don't know. And then we'll read 16. I've read a bunch before, but it's nice to have a refresher. If Kobo's Market is flooded. It is not flooded, because this is one of the ones I saved. Given Ren Kobo's Mississippian heritage, it's not surprising that he set up his market next to a clear, spring-fed lake. You see the market bathed in sunlight, bursting with wares from both inside and outside the valley. You hear the joyful chatter of bartering customers and merchants as you approach. Actually, I hadn't read that, because when I did visit, it was flooded. So there was a bunch more flooding stuff going on. Then the lead ranger needs to search the path deck for the next feature and put it into play. All right, so let's find a feature specifically. Those are both my hungry scruffs. All right, I got a morning route, and I think these shuffle back in. So the morning route has 0 presents, so it's not going to mess with me. It is within reach, and I can use fitness and reason to slice and share the tear-inducing vegetable to add harm to it and then suffer a fatigue, and then soothe 3 fatigue. Interestingly, having to suffer fatigue is a bit annoying, but then I would get to soothe 3, and that would put a Vittle on my static sifter. After you add 1 or more harm to a flora, you can add a Vittle to this gear, and then I could use that Vittle to soothe 2 more fatigue. So I am interested in that test, although it uses fitness and I need that to traverse, but I'm not in a rush to traverse because I need to find some prey. So put that out, and that finishes my traveling. So we'll end the round by readying, energizing, and drawing 1 card, and start the next round by drawing a path card, which is a Blood Beckoned Velox. Predator with ambush. It's going to come in within reach and immediately fatigue me equal to its presence of 2. So I take 2 more fatigue, and that bold is getting closer to the bottom. Again, not a big deal, the bold just happens to be a card I know from that stack. If a ranger is injured, this being gains disconnected. So if I had an injury, which would be a harm on my roll card, I would not be able to clear it with progress. But the 3 harm is going to be easier to deal anyway. So put that out, and that is not the animal I wanted to see, but I can fix that. So let's go ahead and use my roll to pick up Seen Through Cycles, and then play Seen Through Cycles for 2 of my 3 spirit and 1 of my 2 songs to shuffle this back in and choose a different being to bring out. And that'll be, of course, the Hungry Scroff, our 2 presence prey. It's also a predator, but it's also prey. Well, interesting. A response is when you interact with this being, you may discard 1 token from an equipped food to commit 1 effort. Well, Static Sifter is a food, so I could interact with the Morning Root, get a Vittle, and then spend the Vittle when I interact with the Scroff. But I think I want to soothe my fatigue, so I don't think I'm actually going to feed the Scroff. So that is going to be out. I just need to clear this, and my quiet mission will be all ready to go. Seen Through Cycles is done, but I think I am going to use my 3rd XP from the Ranger badge. I'm actually not 100% clear. It's probably clear in the rules, but I'll need to look it back up. I'm pretty sure you can choose to discard your gear anytime. Like if it runs out of charges, you might not have any more use for it, which is the case with the Ranger badge, except it's not actually gear, it's an attachment. So I don't know if I'm allowed to discard it. Also, I don't know if there's a rule against me attaching a 2nd attachment to the same card. I think there is a rule against it, but I don't remember. So if I had my other Ranger badge card, now that I'm out of XP on this one, could I attach the other one and get to do it 3 more times in a day? I'm feeling, I don't know. I don't think you're allowed to have 2 attached at the same time, and I'm not sure if you're allowed to just discard it at will, as you are with your other gear. So, but I don't think it's going to matter in this playthrough, so I'm not going to look it up. So we're just going to leave it here, and it's not going to be able to do anything anymore. But that's going to ready me and get to exhaust again. I want to get a Sky Whip, which I want to play on the Hungry Scroff, so I'll commit 2, and I guess let's make it 3. I do have to spend my song for that. 3 with awareness, plus 1 is 4. So I could have used Riri for the 4th harm, but I just get 4 naturally, which clears the Scroff with harm and fills up my lure mission. Finally, I think I actually did have 5 presents here on day 1 when I first got the mission, but there was just so much other stuff going on I didn't get to complete it. Now the Mountain Crest resolves, and the Morning Root says if there's an active prey, exhaust it, but there's not because I just cycloned it away. So I will get a song. Oh, I think I forgot to collect the rain again. So we should have 4 rain, and it should be a downpour. But I didn't hit the sun, so that's fine. Now I can just travel, but I definitely want to soothe fatigue because I'm down to 2 cards in hand, and I could pick up 5 more cards. Could be pretty nice. I don't know what to expect on the next step of this mission if I have to face off against Quiet. Don't know what that's going to be like. So I'm going to do this Fit plus Reason test. Let's see, if I succeed on the test, which I need a 1 to do, I will add 1 harm to this, suffer 1 fatigue, and choose a ranger. All right, so let's commit 1 of my fitness energy, and I'll commit Static Sifter for its Reason icon. So that is 2 fitness committed so far. Got a 0, so 2 is more than or equal to 1. 1 because if there's no number printed, it's default of 1. So I get to add 1 harm, take 1 fatigue, and then soothe 3 fatigue, adding the top 3 to my hand. So even though I know bold's down at their bottom, I don't think I can't dig in. I have to take them off the top. And now my Static Sifter says after you add 1 or more harm to a flora, add 1 Vittle. So I'll add a Vittle, but then I will exhaust this and use the Vittle to soothe 2 more fatigue, adding 2 more cards to my hand. Now bold is right there on the top, although I did draw my other bold. And bold is just 2 exploration icons, so just help me travel, which I think I'm going to be doing momentarily. The mountain will do nothing again, so I'll take a second song. And then let's go ahead and traverse Kobo's Market with 1, 2, 3. Do I just do 3? I need 4 to succeed. I could do this to make it 4. There's a lot of -1s, so there's still a chance we get fail here. So, all right, I'm going to do my second copy of Seen Through Cycles, so I can pick it back up if I need it. But I'm down to once per round now. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we get +1, so 6. Put 6 progress there, so we're going to be able to travel again. And then the mountain again is going to give me a song. 1 spirit and 1 reason. And I just spent a bunch of cards. I'm down to 3. So I think I am going to try to do a basic remember test just with a 1. -1 is 0, so that is a fail. So just nothing happens. I wasted it. But a mountain will give me a song. Already up to 4 on that. 4 songs. And I guess we're going to end the round. So actually first, before I write anything, I need to travel. Kobo's Market has 6 when it needed 4. So we're going to leave and head to Spire. That's going to be lakeshore terrain. All right, I just had to do some manual labor, so I got extra sweaty. I forgot where I'm at, but I know I'm traveling to the Spire. So let's see what is going to happen first here. Maybe we'll do this first. Arrive at the attached location, read 1.5. And then there's the Spire. We'll have to do the setup for that as well. You got like 3 things happening all at the same time. All right, 1.50, arriving at Spire, go to 1.08. Looks like that one's got an errata. So I'll read from my printout. At the end of your travels, the tower at the center of Spire has never looked more welcoming. You couldn't shake the haunted look on Calypso's face when she saw those corpses. And ever since that day, you felt a presence. Well, that was yesterday. Or this morning, like a patient predator lurking in the underbrush, hounding your every step. Gained the Watcher in the Brush mission. I feel like I would have thought that was quiet. Guess not. Watcher in the Brush. As you cross the bridge to the center of town, Ben Amon, pilot of the Swift and Master Artificer, joins you. Hello there. Elder Thrush asked that I come to Spire to check on the hydroelectric turbines just in case they suffered any damage during the flood, he says. What brings you here? You explain what brought you here, and his smile fades. Without delay, he accompanies you to see Elder Orlin. You find Elder Mora Orlin in the heart of the carbon forge, bent over an air lathe with a heavy piece of carbon in her powerful hands. When she sees you, she shuts off the howling machine and straightens. What is it? She growls. Her filthy stare never wavers as you describe the strange beings with the eyeless faces and dangerous-looking claws. When you finish, she grunts and nods to you and Ben Amon. My mother told me about these. When we first came over the passes into the valley, our people encountered beings like the ones you described. Vicious biomelds. They called them reclaimers. You ask why reclaimers. I'm not certain, says Elder Orlin, but they are biomelds, like the caustic mulcher and the toxin eater, and like all biomelds, they serve an ancient purpose. Perhaps they are compelled to capture something they perceive to be lost, or they search for some possession they believe to be theirs. The best way to discover the answer is to find them and observe their behavior. When you head out into the valley, keep your eyes open. If you find reclaimers, see what you can learn about them. Ben Amon clears his throat. Elder Orlin, searching the valley could take weeks. If we want to know where they are, I can set up a scanning rig. We just need to place a few relays around the valley, and I can sweep for these reclaimers. Elder Orlin shakes her head and gives Ben a bemused look. Sensors. Always sensors. We have all the sensors we need. Right here. She taps her chest. And here. She taps her temple. Use your instinct. Use your intellect. And you'll find them. Ben doesn't waver. Elder, it's a big valley. If we don't send some sort of help, they could hike within a half-mile of a swarm of these things and never know it. He turns to you. What do you think? Do you want to spend weeks searching the valley for these things, or discover exactly where they are in just a few days? Rangers choose. Agree with Ben Amon and deploy the scanners, or agree with Elder Orlin and rely on your senses. Well, that seems like a big question. I want to rely on elders. I feel like you got to trust their wisdom, but she does seem a bit stubborn. I mean, wouldn't you want to just do it the most efficient way? As a shaper, bold, versatile. I mean, this is artifice, not shaper stuff. But yeah, falling back on just like human capabilities instead of advanced stuff that we have access to, sensors seems better. I'm going to agree with Ben Amon. You agree with Ben. The faster you can find out if the reclaimers are in the valley, the better. Elder Orlin grunts and turns back to her air lathe. After you leave, Ben takes you to the Hearty Brew, the best tavern in town. There you find his pin crawler parked around the courtyard. He opens the back hatch, revealing a store of parts and electronic components, along with a folding workbench. He sets to crafting something, and when you ask what he's doing, he distractedly mutters that you should think about getting some food. By the time you've finished eating and return, you see a bundle of stakes about a meter long, each topped with a globe, crisscrossed with the complex circuit inlays. These are relay scanners, Ben explains proudly. Set them up across the valley, and they should generate a field that will pick up any biomeld activity. If there's a swarm of reclaimers out there, we'll see it. Just be sure to spread out the sensors as far as possible. Opposite ends of the valley would be best. When you stick them in the ground, just whistle this tune. He blows 3 notes, and the relay goes active. Ben hands you a glass disc and a smooth wooden frame. Once all 3 are active, they will send the results to the biological outpost south of Branch. But you can see what they pick up with this. Gain the sensor network mission. Doesn't he have like a flying car thing? Why didn't he do this? That seems like a weird choice of which person should give us this mission. The person who could most efficiently complete it? I mean, I would understand if somebody different gave us the mission and maybe Ben's not available or something, but Ben, you've literally got a flying car thing. Why don't you do it? Or at least give me a ride. Sensor network. I guess I should actually get these mission cards. All right. Sensor network says deploy sensor to try to detect reclaimers, plummet, high basin, and mound of the navigator. When a feature comes into play at one of these locations, you may attach this mission to it. When a feature with this mission attached is cleared, place 1 progress on this mission. Have 3 progress on this mission. Read 1.09. So I assume this is going to work like the Rising Waters. So you've got to do 3 features per location, and I have to do all 3 locations. Where are they? Plummet is over here. So that's 2 travels away back to Kobo's Market. High Basin is over here. So I could go east to Crossroads Station and Branch and then High Basin, or I go to Philosopher's Garden and south to Branch and then High Basin. And then the mound of the navigator is here. So 1, 2, 3. So these 2 are kind of closer, so it would probably make sense to go west and then go double back and then go around. Something like, well, that's an awkward route, but that would do it. And then I also got the Watcher in the Brush, which says, you have felt a lurking presence following you since your discovery of the strange biomeld corpses. It generally stays out of sight, so you're going to have to confront it to figure out what it wants. Add the mysterious Verdesian to the path deck and clear the mysterious Verdesian with progress. All right, so I'm setting up. This happens once I've already arrived at Spire, so I don't think I'm going to shuffle it in now. But it'll be for future path deck setups. And technically, nothing has told me to complete this yet. I assume that's going to happen. Oh, it does. It said it at the beginning. Complete the Journey Spire mission. So that can go back in the box. And I'll check it off. Now let's check the Spire setup, or the location card in general. So we got 1 presence, 4 progress. With fitness plus exploration, I can enter the bustling town of Spire to move your ranger token to this location and draw a card from the Spire deck. When you would draw a path card, if your ranger token is on this location and there are cards remaining in the Spire deck, you may draw a card from the Spire deck instead. And then on the back, so what is the Spire deck? Read entry 5, and then it says path deck assembly. Do not add the Spire set to the path deck. So I'd heard that somewhere. So I'm not going to shuffle them. That's why I haven't shuffled these together yet. They're going to be shuffled separately. So we got the Lakeshore, shuffle that, and then shuffle separately these 6 cards, which will be the Spire deck. And arrival setup, lead ranger, draw path card, next ranger, there is no next ranger. So I'm going to draw path card. So this is, if you would draw a path card, if your ranger token is here, you can draw from the Spire deck. So I cannot draw from the Spire deck yet. But I don't really need to because, well, first of all, I'm not done resolving my arrival. I still am going to do the lore mission. But now I've got these other missions, Watcher in the Brush and Sensor Network, and neither of them require me to be at the Spire. I already did all of the Spire stuff I need to do, which was just talking to Ben and the Elder Orland. So I can just leave the Spire immediately without entering. And in fact, once we deal with Quiet, I mean, I still have some cards left in my deck. If I want to be the most efficient possible, I guess I could, we'll see where we're at once I'm able to traverse Spire. But I could just start heading back to Kobo's Market so that I can go to the Plummet. Also, I didn't have to write an entry in the book regarding amount of time to do these sensors, although I do still have the entry on day 10 for the Journey to Spire mission. So I'm not sure what kind of timeline I'm on here. I don't know what's going to happen at day 10. So I might start trying to head west again. I mean, I kind of want to go this way because I want to go to these places I haven't been to yet, but it just seems most efficient to go to the plummet first. Maybe it doesn't matter since I'm going to double back anyway. I could go to Philosopher's Garden, Branch, High Basin, and then the Furrow, Terravor, Mound of the Navigator. That's a long journey. And then back north, Biological Outpost, Crossroads, Spire. Yeah, maybe go east just because that's more fun to see more different stuff. Go back to the market later. All right, so I do still need to draw one path card, and that's just from the grasslands, or the lakeshore rather. I got a Tidewater Muckets. And now that I've done the full setup, now I'm not sure the timing order of this, but I'm going to say that now is the time when we do a lure, which is to arrive at a new location. Well, there's 5 more prey presents. So Muckets are not going to really be getting in my way. Unfortunately, they're not flora, so they don't work with my static sifter. So this says read 1.42. Lure Quiet, 1.42a. It took some time to find enough bait. Yeah, it did. And even longer to get close to one of her hunting grounds. She's nowhere to be seen, but you don't have any interest in using yourself as bait. Instead, you release the prey animals and observe from a distance. You wait for hours before you spot movement. You hold your breath as the sleek, shadowy form of the largest bearded lynx you've ever seen slips out of the underbrush. With Quiet right before you, you have a choice. You can try to understand and perhaps even befriend the lynx, as Nal would want, or you can try to kill her and ensure the valley's safety, as Cordo would want. Flip the Lure Quiet card over to its confront side, but don't change your mission log. If you don't complete the confrontation today, you'll have to track her down again. Put Quiet into play within reach of the ranger of your choice. Do not read her entry. Return all set-aside prey to the collection. Then if you've understood the mulcher, go to 1.42d. I have not understood the mulcher, so this becomes confront. You found the mega predator. Now it's time to deal with it once and for all. When the subject of this mission is cleared, resolve the following effects instead. Clear with harm or clear with progress. Well, I do feel like I'm pretty good at harm with my cyclone, but I'd prefer to clear it with progress. And I do have 4 tokens on my scepter. So I'm supposed to put her into play, and she's been hiding here under the mission. And so let's take a look at Quiet. She's going to be within reach. These can go away. She's got ambush. So she's going to fatigue me right away for 3. That's going to run down my day a bit. 1, 2, 3, right on top of that bold. 5 or 5. All right, a lot of them have less harm than progress, so 5 is actually not unreasonable compared to 5 harm. So she's going to come out, and that was still my travel step. So we are now doing a refresh. So let's ready everything, energize, and draw. There's my travel finally. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards left in my deck. So I would love to resolve this Quiet situation and then travel. Let's see what we can do. Well, my scepter, I would be able to add 4 immediately. So I just need 1 more progress. So I feel like, I need to start the next round by drawing a path card, and I got another predator. That's nice. That's another ambush. That's going to be annoying. The Romping Lutrinel, also within reach. I should have 3 spirit. Really not been enjoying this card. The number of connection icons it provides is equal to the amount of spirit you have, but if I do the basic spirit plus connection test, I'm spending all my spirit, so then I've got no spirit left for it to have any icons. So you really need to be doing different type energy tests with connection icons for engaging to be good. But I just haven't had many of those. I mean, they show up sometimes, but makes this engaging card very situational. So I'm not excited about this card. And now I'm like not sure because I want to do the basic connection test, spirit and connection icons to add progress to a being equal to my effort. I'd like to get as much as I can so I don't have to spend too many songs. But I mean, I don't know, is there anything else I need to do with my spirit? But if I commit 3 energy, then this engaging card is useless. But I guess I can spend 1 energy. If I spend 1, then this is 2. So I'm at 3 still without spending as much energy. But then what else am I going to do with the energy? It doesn't matter. All right, well, I'll do it that way. No, yeah, sure. 1 energy, engaging for 2 more, and versatile for 1 more. So I'm at 4, and we got a 0, so it's going to be 4 progress on Quiet. Resolve the Sun, which takes away some rain and fatigues me again. And then I'll use my scepter to add a 5th to clear her. And then I can read, oh, I should resolve this as well. If the predator has 2 per ranger or more progress. Resolve its conflict effect. Oh no. Okay, well I have to wait on the scepter. I have to wait to resolve this challenge, so for this test. And I did just add 4, so it does have 2 per ranger or more progress. I mean, even just 2 would be enough. So I have to resolve its crest, which is to suffer an injury. So I got an injury, which discards my whole fatigue stack. And then every time I rest, I take a fatigue. But after that, I can then add the 5th progress with my song. And now I'll read 1.43. Confront quiet, go to 1.43a. Bloody, wary, but uncowed. You carefully approach the angry bearded lynx. Quiet hisses at you, baring her fangs, but doesn't flinch or snap at you as you reach your hand to her nose. She sniffs cautiously, and then to your surprise and amazement, she leans forward and gives you an affectionate head rub that sends you tumbling over on your backside. Quiet starts to purr quietly, and you feel a warmth steal through your soul at the sound, as if you have some sort of deeper connection with her. You're not sure how you know, but you're convinced she won't come after anyone in the nearby villages now. She seems a lot more interested in you, so she might keep a wary eye on you from afar, and perhaps help you when you need aid. Complete the Lure Quiet mission, permanently remove Quiet from the Valley set, gain the Quiet reward card. Each ranger soothes 2 fatigue. Oh, that's kind of rude. Each ranger soothes 2 fatigue. I don't have any fatigue, but the rest sounds great. So this card is out of the game. I don't know where to put that. I'll just put it with the Valley set, but I'll put it backward so that I'll remember she's out. It'll be a pretty easy one to remember. And we get the Quiet reward card. Confront is done. I can check that off finally. And she says she's got 2 fit cost, 2 presence, 3 harm threshold. She's got 2 conflict icons and a connection, friendly, persistent, and unique. It can exhaust her to add 3 harm to a being and harm to quiet equal to that being's presence. So she can fight somebody. That seems like a card I would like to have. I put these energies on backward. But I won't be able to add it to my deck until I camp. Hopefully I can camp now. I'm going to have to deal with this Lutrinel. Oh, and I didn't resolve these sun icons. This one says if there's another romping Lutrinel, but there's not. This says if there's an exhausted predator, ready it, but there's not. Okay, so neither of those happened anyway. I want to traverse Spire, but I need to get rid of this Lutrinel. Let's exhaust to pick up a manifestation, which will be, of course, a Sky Whip. I will spend a song to play it and commit 2 awareness. 2 is enough, and I can afford a -1 because of Riri. So let's see. Got a +1. That's a 3. 3 will clear it with harm. And then I need to resolve the sun, which is another rain, another fatigue. And then this says if there's an exhausted predator, but there's not. Let's just traverse Spire. I need 4 to travel, and I don't think I'm going to get there. Well, I could if I'm lucky. I've got a exploration hike on there. If I get a +1, then I can rest easy. So let's do that. So 3 +1. I got the +1, so I get 4 progress. Resolve the crest. If this mission is attached, it's not attached. And then no other crests, so I get a song, but it's not going to matter. I reshuffled this, but it's not going to matter because I'm just going to move into step 3 and travel. So I'm going to be traveling, I decided east. Yeah, let's go from Spire east to the Philosopher's Garden, and that's going to be by way of some old growth. Old growth forest will be a new path deck we haven't seen yet. I don't think so. Philosopher's Garden, old growth. And because I am traveling and I haven't run out of cards in my deck, I can choose to camp out, which means I'm going to go ahead and end the day while traveling, which means I get to add reward cards in my deck. So we're going to go ahead and add quiet. And even though I used engaging to to get her, I didn't need to. I had the spirit to spare, but I will go ahead and change out engaging. Kind of done with that card. So take out 2 engaging and add 2 quiet. And I forgot, I also have Now's Understanding that I hadn't added in yet. I could add this in as well. 1 spirit, 2 connection icons, which is probably just better than the engaging. Although engaging could be 3 if I was using a different energy. But like I said, not reliable. Adds 5 progress. It's a huge amount. So yeah, I think I need to add that as well. I've got a few cards I've never played, but I still think Versatile is going to be the card to go here. So let's cut 2 Versatiles and add 2 Now's Understanding. Like, I haven't really played this card Familiar Ground. Thought it was going to be useful once and it wasn't. Green Thumb I played like once, but it could still be useful. I don't know. Get the Philosopher's Garden and take a look at where we'll be headed next time. Traveling by way of Old Growth, so we'll grab those. The non-pivotal location, so I'll shuffle up the Valley set and add 3 random cards. We'll have to come back to the Spire one day to see what it's all about, see what the Spire deck is going on. Cross out day 6. We're still going to be in a downpour on day 7. Stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing, and bye.